back for another week of the Curve. Yes. Welcome back. We're so excited that you are here. Hey, while you're on here, like the page, the Curve. Actually, it's on the Curve on Facebook, and also subscribe to our YouTube page and share. We really want everyone to see the broadcast because we got some juicy stuff to talk about tonight. Y'all ready, ladies?
Yeah,
we're ready.
Everybody have a good week?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going to get into this first topic. So, I know last week we were supposed to talk about the movie Dumpling because, y'all, listen, any movie about curvy women and pageants is a movie that's going to be close to your girls' heart.
I knew this was I knew
This
this.
is right up my alley. So, first of all, if you haven't seen it, I want you to, right after this, I want you to go to Netflix and make it happen because it's a fantastic movie. So the premise of the movie, do you want to
Well, tell them why this means something to you.
Oh,
All of them may not know.
that's true because we got a lot of people coming in from a lot of different places. So I'm the current reigning Miss Plus America. Thank you. The queen is good, darling. So I'm the current reigning Miss Plus America, and this story spoke to me in so many different ways because it talks about a young woman who isn't confident or who wasn't confident and how she kind of took the pageant world and turned it on its ear. And so I really love that because it speaks to my own personal situation and how, I feel like Miss Plus America kind of does that in the pageant world. It's the, it takes the mainstream pageant system and turns it on its ear. So
Absolutely. I feel, that movie is not just for curvy women, though.
yeah.
That is a movie that speaks to all women. Anybody that's, suffering or going through the challenge of not having enough self-esteem, not having enough self-confidence.
Yeah.
That movie was so touching, so motivating. It really inspired me.
Okay, give the people a little snippet without telling them what happened all the way.
Dumpling.
This is her name. Okay?
I love that.
They are
She
Southern.
was so pretty.
They
so
are
pretty.
Southern.
So she decided to compete in a beauty pageant where her mom was like,
The pageant director.
yeah, and her mom gave her a really hard time because she was a plus size girl. Even though she was gorgeous, her mom didn't think that she had the ability to compete in the pageant. She didn't give her any type of help or anything. And at first, she started off, trying to ruin the pageant, but she realized at some point that she could actually win. She gained confidence. She gained a lot of supporters, and she came in and she didn't
win.
They ended up
Don't
just-
tell.
But
Don't tell.
the background with the mother is the mother was thin,
Yeah.
and did the mother believe in her and her capability as far as in competing?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
And that actually kind of, I guess that kind of speaks to my situation as well because my mother is a wonderfully supportive mom, but pageantry wasn't her thing. And so I started competing when I was in college, and I will never forget my very first pageant, the Miss Black and Gold pageant. Shout out to the Alphas.
Yes.
My very first pageant, the Miss Black and Gold pageant, my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because my mom placed a lot of emphasis on intelligence and not so much on like beauty and that kind of thing. Like she was being beautiful fades, being smart is forever.
Absolutely.
And so my mother was way more focused on, are you making good grades and are you way more focused on academics. So when I first competed in my first pageant, my mom, they came, but they weren't. My mom was just like, what else? The second pageant that I competed in was the Miss Black University of Georgia pageant. And I didn't tell anybody because I was so afraid my mother was not going to. It wasn't that she wasn't going to be supportive, but she wasn't going to she was kind of like Dumpling's mom. It was just like, whatever, yes, you're pretty and you're a beautiful girl, but this isn't really. This is just kind of a waste of time.
A hobby.
And she was just like, yeah, whatever. And then I ended up winning. so it kind of was like, oh, you like this. And it was a little different. So I definitely related to Dumpling and her situation because I had been through that kind of. I've been there. And not that mother, pageantry is a whole different world.
Absolutely.
And I definitely understand how some people are like, it's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. Like, it's a hobby. But it's not if you're getting these scholarship dollars. Let's talk about it, friends.
I need to enter.
Listen.
Sally Mae having a pageant. Please, sign me up.
Sally Mae, that's what you need, a pageant in your life,
Yes.
so that you can get these
I will enter
scholarships.
that one, definitely.
Yes, indeed. These scholarship dollars are super duper important.
So let's talk about it.
Mhm.
Is it the mindset of people of what a beauty pageant should look like as far as in contestants? Should a beauty pageant, how do we define beauty in pageants? That's the better question.
So the pageantry system, I guess I can speak on this. The pageantry world is kind of split between mainstream pageants, which are your Miss Americas, your Miss United States, your Miss USA, and that typically goes up to a size 12. Your plus arena, which is why the fashion industry kind of took over and said, oh, plus size starts at 12W, because mainstream pageants end at about a size 12.
Okay.
But that was the question that I asked you in regards to when you're thinking about size. What was the first thing I said? Do you have to wear a swimsuit?
Oh, yeah. So so here's the thing. In the Miss Plus America pageant, there is a runway competition where swimwear is optional.
Okay.
Now, I had some pageant sisters. Baby, they got on there and gave their entire lives on that stage, and they were amazing. I mean, beautiful women, curvy and gorgeous, and just giving me life. I did not personally do a swimsuit because I didn't feel like everybody wanted to see my tiger stretch marks. Like, I love my son, but listen, my stomach looks a little bit like I've been in a fight with a tiger, and it's okay because I love him. I a little bit like I've been in a fight with a tiger, but it's okay because I love my son, and I would do it again to get him here.
Those are woman wounds.
Come on
There
now.
you go.
Come on now. But there is, to answer your question, you can. There are pageants that absolutely, plus size pageants that absolutely you do have to wear a swimsuit. And there are lots of them where it's optional. Lots of plus size pageants have different categories like elegant pant wear, or they'll do like a sport wear or fun wear, or just a place where you can show your personality and really who you are as a person. And that makes it a little more palatable for some plus size women. So.
Okay.
But the standards of beauty, I think, in plus size pageantry are a little different than in mainstream. Like in mainstream, it is very much about how thin you are and how thin you are and your facial beauty. In plus size pageantry, it's much more about the total package.
Okay.
Like there's interview, like in Miss Plus America, your interview is 50% of your score.
Wow.
So if you
Wow.
don't interview well,
Absolutely.
and they
Wow.
they don't know who you are as a person, when you walk out of there, you will not win.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. That's a little on the world of pageantry, people.
Good compliment. I like that.
Okay. Well, speaking of beautiful dresses.
Oh, here we go.
Y'all, listen, we got to talk about it. So, did y'all hear about the bride? I'm sorry. Did y'all hear about the bride who sent out invitations to her
Wedding party.
wedding party? Thank you. Sent out invitations to her wedding party a year ahead of time. Said basically, hey, listen, y'all got 365 days to get your $1,000 together.
More than that, because
Yeah,
that was
because she
the
asked for
extra
Louboutins and
outfit.
everything.
She did
Yeah,
have
she
some
did.
Louboutins.
She asked for it all.
Yes, she
Yes.
did. She said, hey, listen, y'all, get your coins together because I'm going to want you to spend thousands of dollars to be a part of my wedding party. Not only that, if you're a size 100 to 160, I got this outfit for you. If you're a size 160 to I think it was like 210 or something like that.
Well, she just said 160
Oh,
plus
160 plus.
for women.
I got a whole different outfit just for you,
All
and it
black.
consists of all black.
But a lot cheaper
But I'm
than
not
the
mad
skin
at her.
color. That's
And
all I'm
camera-
saying.
Are you serious? Let me tell you
Let's
something.
talk about it. Let's talk about
Okay,
it. I'm
okay,
not
okay,
mad because you always have the right to say no.
That's
You
true.
have the right to say no. And take it from me. I previously married. I had some standards that I said, okay, if you're gonna be in my wedding, there were some people with some hurt feelings.
Okay.
And I feel as though she let them know up front, this is what I want if you want to be in my wedding. However, you can attend the wedding. She didn't say they couldn't come.
That's true.
She just said if you want to be a part of the wedding party, this is what you're going to have to wear. Now, if it's her wedding, she has that right to say yay or nay.
So how many friends she had? 5?
Well, but you know what? But that's her
That
choice.
actually
But that's her
participate
choice.
in the
Yeah.
wedding.
That's the thing. If it was 2 people up here, then those were her decisions. But I feel like as a friend, if my friend came and said, hey, you 230, so you're going to have to wear this black. And I felt like, oh, that's too much money, or I don't have to wear that. I would be like, okay, I don't want to be in the wedding, but can I still come?
But you wouldn't have been offended
Yeah.
by the
Not at
wedding?
all. Not
I
at all.
wouldn't. So I wouldn't
Not
have
at
been
all.
offended.
I'm sorry, I would have showed up in the skinny people's outfit.
Oh.
Okay, so but let's be clear though. The outfits. Hold on. The outfits were for the photos. They weren't for the day of the ceremony.
I
They
thought it was
were-
for the dance.
It was there
It
was
was
a
for the
dance.
dance.
And there was a
Yeah.
photo and a videography kind of
Yeah.
I
thing.
was
that
more
she was
offended
doing.
by the children. That's what I was more offended by, not the adults.
That they had to wear all red?
Yes, because first of all, here's my situation, and this is just me and my thinking. You say, okay, if you want to be in my wedding, if you over 200 pounds, this is what you're wearing. I have the right to say no, right? But here it is, these kids, you're going to tell me that you want my child to wear something, and then you want her to learn this dance too. Not doing
Well, I
that.
think the children were just making a heart. That's why. they
I thought
wanted
the
to-
heart was for the dance.
The heart was for
Yeah.
the
The
dance.
heart was for the dance. So now it's the pressure of she got to have on this outfit and learn to dance and look right for your
And she
pictures.
said,
That's
make
too much
sure
for
it
a
don't look
kid.
cheap. I would have went
Yeah.
to Goodwill.
And what did she
You
tell
are
her
spiteful.
the
They the
boyfriend
Pettyville.
wear?
I don't
Pettyville.
know. And she had
Petty.
everything. But see, here's the thing. It's her day.
That's
It's
just
her
I-
day.
That's
I
her
wonder,
day. But
did
if she's that controlling, then is she controlling him too? What did she tell him to wear?
Well, Stoney, we don't have nothing to do with that. He knows what he's getting into. You know what I mean? Like, people know what they're
They'll be
signing
divorced
up.
by
First of all,
Christmas.
you know your friends. You know your friends. I have been asked to be in weddings that I said no. I'll pass. I'll
Absolutely.
attend. Now,
Absolutely.
in my former life, 15, 16 years ago, I was a bridezilla. I was.
Oh, wow.
And I had some people tell me, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to participate. However, I will attend. Okay, no harm, no foul.
I wonder, did
It's-
she do that just to get certain people out of her wedding?
Well, I don't know because she got mad when they posted.
They put it on.
They put it on
Social
Reddit.
media.
They put it on Reddit.
Yeah.
That's where they started. They put it on Reddit, and people were voting on it and making comments. And so
Well,
she,
because then the focus got on her versus the people that she was trying to keep out of her wedding.
like, I
Because
feel
if
like it
she
should
has
have.
all those particular things that she wants, I wonder why she has anyone even over 160 in her wedding.
Well, 'cause
like,
she needed them
get
to
on
pull
the
off the
scale,
dance.
like, ooh, nope, you can't be in my wedding.
She needed those people though.
So when I got married, I got a dress that I felt like everyone would look good
Complimented
in.
everyone.
That complimented everyone because I personally felt like my wedding day wasn't just about me. It was about us coming together as a unit, and it was about me, but it was also about the people who were standing up for me. That I felt like, okay, I want you to be able to go, eat and pay your light bill after this is over. Like I
Well,
just think-
here's the thing.
but I was kind of the inside bride, so that.
Well,
I was the
had the
anti-bride,
same-
too.
I wasn't.
I
I
was
was
the
all
anti-bride.
You all
in.
in.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Some of them are still mad at me to this day.
Oh,
Because
friend.
Wow.
I picked a nice little chiffon gown that fit everything. I had from 0 to 24 in my
Okay.
wedding.
Yep.
Was it expensive?
So, pardon me?
Was it expensive?
Yes, it was. However, they complained about those shoes, and my words to them were, handle it. Like, I understand at a size 18, 20 that your shoes feel different than they felt when I was an 8.
Absolutely.
They feel okay, but that was an option. You had the option to tell me no. some of them got up there, and you should see my wedding video. I was so upset because you could just see them taking their shoes off. Like everybody was just coming out their shoes at the top. Like you always have the right to say no.
I think that's probably why I've never been in a wedding, because I can't conform to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's being true.
I had somebody who absolutely declined being in my wedding, and she was a good friend of mine. Like I really wanted her to be in it, but she was like, you know what, sis, I love you, but I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It kind of was, because at first I was hurt. I was like, so we ain't cool like that no
So you took it
more.
personally.
I did take it personally. Like I absolutely, at the time, I took it personally. Like it took me a minute to get over it and to understand. Okay, yes, this is about you, but it's not really about you. Like there are all kinds of things that could be going on and all kinds of reasons why she might not have wanted to.
I mean,
But
also when you're picking your wedding party, these are usually people who are in your inner circle.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are people that you've been friends with for like ever, you know? So, like I said, I was the anti-bride. I didn't want any bridesmaids. I didn't want all of that. I was forced to have it. And that's only because my husband wanted my bonus son in it and his brother and my son in it. And I was like, so you gonna make me have bridesmaids? And my niece, she was in it because I promised she would be my flower girl, but she was just too old at that point. But
Let me say this.
I got married
Okay,
late in life.
I've been married twice.
Come
Okay.
on, son.
Come on.
And I'm
You
looking
know
for
we
my
gotta do
third
this.
right
Come
now.
on, yes. Yes.
Third.
Y'all got
Well,
that?
I've never had a wedding, so because I knew that the first two were gonna be a disaster.
Wow.
So we
So
just
why did you do it?
Oh yeah, we gonna skip the preliminaries. So this
Okay.
time I'm gonna walk.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Okay.
and I may be a little extra, but that time
A little.
yeah, just a little extra.
Come on.
I
Be
feel-
honest.
right.
I feel something else.
Just a little extra.
But
I
my
feel like
question
it's
is, if you knew those marriages were going to be a disaster, why did you get married?
I'm Sony.
Well,
I'm like,
okay.
what?
I'm not ready. And on that
But you know
note,
what? Second time around for me will be something totally different. Like I feel like justice of the peace, destination.
You
I
got the
don't
wedding
know.
dress on now.
Yeah, baby.
yes.
I'm ready.
And we are ready for a very quick commercial break, so we're going to take 5 and we will be right back with more of The Curve.
Wow.
right, we are back with more of the Curve. So, we're about to hop into this hot topic. For those of you who are love and hip hop aficionados, your boy Marcus Black of Love and Hip Hop LA, I think. Yes, your boy who is Marcus Black was on Instagram popping off at the mouth. Justin, play the video.
Hey man, I was thinking this morning, and I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of lip from you ladies over this, but you know, fuck it. It just gotta be said. Okay, listen. No man, no real man want no woman that's 100% independent. You know, it's cool to be self-sufficient. It's cool to be able to get out here and do your thing and handle your business if you need to, but all that 100% independent, I don't need no nigga for nothing type attitude, listen, that ain't gonna get you nowhere with us, okay? Not no real man, because part of the reason we was even put on earth is to protect and provide. If you don't need me to do none of that, what you want me for? You know, leave me alone. I can go spend some time with a woman who I can help. You know, and while you're at it, fuck yourself and eat your own pussy. And you hit yourself from the back since you so damn bad.
So, ladies, the question on the table is, were men put here on the earth to provide and protect?
Absolutely.
And
Did I say that?
you
Go ahead.
You gonna let your girl ask the question or not? Okay. And if that's all they are put here to do, shouldn't we just be happy when they provide and protect and all that good stuff? And is Marcus right? Like, are we playing ourselves? What do y'all think? You saw the video.
I did see the video.
You saw the video?
I saw the video.
I agree with Marcus.
Oh,
Because, okay, well, what he's talking about, an independent woman versus a self-sufficient woman. I was a very self-sufficient woman when I met my husband. I had a house. I had a good job. I took care of my own child for 18 years by myself. I was very self-sufficient. But the difference between self-sufficient and an independent woman is the attitude. And I feel like an independent woman is going to let you know how independent she is every step in turn of the relationship. She'll throw that in your face at the first drop of an argument. I don't need you. I can do all my own thing. That's what I think is the difference between an independent and a self-sufficient. A self-sufficient woman don't have to mouth off like that. A self-sufficient woman knows, I don't need this man, but I'm in a relationship with this man, and this relationship is about us, not just about
When you
what
say
I do in it.
Mouth off. Explain that to me. That's where I'm at. That's where I lost.
Yeah.
Well,
You said
see,
mouth off.
because most of the time, an independent woman is like, I don't need no man, I don't need this, and I can do all things by myself, which is fine and dandy, but if you're throwing that in a man's face every turn of your relationship, every day, like, I don't need you, walk out the door, that type of thing, then that man is like, well, what am I needed for?
Okay.
A man has to feel needed or wanted in relationships.
Let me ask you this, because we're saying it in that tone, right? We're saying it in the, neck rolling, pop and turn. But what if I say, sweetheart, I just don't need a man. I want you to be here in my life. I don't particularly need you. It's the same words, but there's a different attitude. There's a different presentation.
But
is that still Miss Independent? Because the words are the same.
Yes, because it's like, why do you have to let him know I don't need you?
Because there are times when men who provide and protect will throw that in your face. And they will
he's not
say,
being a good man either. If he's throwing that in your face,
That's my
then
point.
that's a whole different situation. But if he's a good man and he's providing and protecting, then it's like, why do you have to remind him I don't need you?
see, I don't think it's either or. I think you can have a good man who also throws it in your face. Like, you can have, they can be, those aren't mutually exclusive.
No.
Like, you can have a good man on one end who comes in and who is doing what he needs to do. He's a good dad, he's a good this, he's a good that, he's a good the other. But when it comes to providing for you, he always lets you know, I did that for you.
So we're
I made
talking
that.
about
I don't think that's a good
personality,
man then.
because
Yeah.
we can talk about an A-type man, and I once heard this, and this is a perfect example. An A-type man being your Steve Harvey, B-type man being your President Obama. Like, he still got the job done, but he didn't have to remind you every step of the way, I did this and I did that. I personally agreed with what he was saying. Like, I chewed the meat and spit out the bones. His presentation was awful. His presentation was awful. I heard what he said, and I get what, let me tell you something. It's a process.
Okay.
I can remember being Miss Independent because I was broken. And I had been dogged out, and I had some people who said, remember, I got you here. Remember, I did this. But when I met you, you didn't have A, B, and C. And I felt like, okay, well, I'll never have nobody say that to me again. So let me show you, I can show you that I can tell you. So once I began to grow and I matured, I was like, hey, let me tell you something. And I'm just going to be honest. Like, being a single parent, like, that Miss Independent stuff get real old. Taking the garbage out. I done dropped garbage disposals. I done fixed the sink. You know, because when you broken, I mean, there's a time where I wasn't where I am now. So I had to fix the toilet. I had to, put the garbage disposal in. But now, I don't mind saying, hey, babe, can you pump my gas? My car needs some gas. Can you get some gas for me? Can you take my car to, get the oil changed or whatever it may be? But I don't have to, I was talking to my girlfriend. Hopefully she ain't watching. I was talking to my girlfriend this morning. She another one. I just had to tell her, let it go. She had someone that wanted to take her somewhere. And their communication got real great. And the first thing she said is, I can take myself on my own trip. I make good money.
She's Miss Independent.
You done missed it. It went right past you. You got a nice guy that want to take you out and show you something
And I'm
different.
sure she lost him right then.
No, she didn't lose him.
She did?
But see,
Because I was being
but
like,
Melissa,
Oh,
you
okay.
said you can show more than you can tell.
that was my
And see,
attitude then at 27.
But that's the thing. It's like showing what you're capable of versus having to voice it all the time. Oh, I'm Miss Independent. I can do that for
No,
myself.
I told
don't
him
need.
that.
No, but I'm saying. But in those words, you said I can show you more than I can tell you. And I think the telling is where it rocks the boat about the independent versus the self-sufficient. You self-sufficient because you know how to do it all. But independent, like, oh no, I'm gonna make sure you know I can do it all.
Okay, so when that conversation comes about, and you have that man who's saying to you, no, remember, I bought you that. I got you that. That car you drive, I got you that. And you're Miss Self-Sufficient. What is your response supposed to be?
Right.
Well, first of all, that man I'm not with. I had men who still didn't do anything for me want to say, I did this in a relationship, and I'm like, okay, and that's why I'm not with them anymore. But my husband right now, yes, the car I'm driving, he bought it. He's bought me several cars since we've been married. He does everything. I don't work. I'm at home with the kids, but he never throws it in my face. And and that's what I consider a good man. He's not going to tell me, oh, I did this for you, and I did this for you, and I did this for you, because he knows that we're a team. And I always call us, we are Team Campbell, and we do it as a team, because he knows he can't get out there and do all that for me if I'm not home taking care of the home.
Okay, so your response to the Marcus Blacks of the world is, don't be with him.
Yes, I would not be with, if he's sitting there throwing it in my face that what he's doing for me, my thing is, I would show you more than I can tell you, because I'd be walking out the door. You're not going to throw it in my face that you're taking
So
care
do we
of.
pull the plug when we have a disagreement?
See, that's
Don't
why
pull the
I
plug.
In those situations, yes, you pull the plug. Because if someone has to throw up in your face that they're doing this for you and they are doing that for you, then yes, it's time to go. I've been in that
Because
situation.
that sounds like a control issue right
It
there.
is.
Yes.
And
That's a
so
control
There's
issue.
a lot of ignorance. Let me say that. There was a lot of ignorance on that video. A lot of ignorance, okay?
much ignorance.
Just you can tell that there wasn't a model, or either there was a model that was inappropriate. My thing is the meat of what he was saying.
Okay,
maybe how he was
so hold on. I want to give Marcus an opportunity to clear up what he said, because there was a second video on Instagram where he tried to clear it up. Now, I want to caution you, viewers, listeners, wonderful people out there, this is a little bit of strong language, okay? Like Melissa said, chew the meat, spit out the bones, because Marcus, he's still walking with the Lord. He got a little further on his journey to go. We gonna let him explain himself.
Okay, so you don't want to hit yourself in the back then. Fair enough, point taken. I guess it's time for me to clarify what I already said in my video. Under no circumstances do I believe that women could not or should not be independent. I never said that. I actually said that it's cool, and I applaud a woman being self-sufficient, meaning that you don't need nobody outside yourself to take care of your basic needs, to feed you, clothe you, house you, etc. It also means that you are intellectually and emotionally independent. So we're not talking about that. What I was talking about is women who have the I don't need a nigga for nothing type attitude, which I typically find in women who have been broken or hurt, and they use it as a defense mechanism, and I think it is very unhealthy and counterproductive. And so, I feel like y'all ran off with that a little bit and made it about something that it's not, but it's all good.
All right, y'all, that was Marcus explaining himself, trying to come back and say, what I said was blah, 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 blah. You still said what you said. Okay? You still.
I accepted this little apology. He was trying to apologize. He probably Pisces. He didn't know how to apologize.
Let's not talk about the Pisces.
You still said what you said, Marcus.
Let them swim that away.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you still said what you said. And while I totally get the point, like I understood, he was trying to say, he was trying to your point, Tony, say, you don't have to throw it up in my face all the time, but there's a different way to say that, I think, than the way that he presented it. Like,
delivery is always,
His presentation was horrible.
His presentation.
Like, I can see why he got all that. I think, okay, first of all, those were some attention-seeking behaviors. I think he wanted to ruffle some feathers.
Come on, Counselor Melissa.
Listen. I think he wanted to ruffle some feathers. But at the same time, I think I read the comments, some of the comments.
Yeah, I did too.
And he had some people that were close to him that were like, what are you talking about? So, chew the meat. I understand. Because I'm going to say this, and this is just me personally stepping out on my own limb to say this. I believe that's why there are some people that are great women, look phenomenal on paper, but they're not in a relationship. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because, and you can, and trust me, I grew up in a single parent home. I was single for a very long time, and had a model. My co-parenting relationship was very great with my parents. However, because of the situation that I was put in, I had to do it by myself. Like, I had to do everything. I didn't want to go on YouTube and learn how to fix the toilet, and I didn't want to go on YouTube and learn how to drop the garbage disposal, but I had to. But at the same time, I also had to learn how to soften my heart. I had to learn how to be vulnerable once you're taken advantage of, because the first person that start talking sideways to you a little bit, you're like, I don't need this. I could do it by myself. However, at almost 40, I feel like I do need some help. Like, I don't need you, but I need some help.
Right, and I don't think it's anything wrong with a man protecting and being the provider for his family, but you also need to be some other stuff, because I feel like men oftentimes rest on that, like, I protect and provide. No, you need to nurture some, you need to come in here and love some.
My
You
cheerleader.
got some other stuff that you need to
I
do.
think women need to be a little bit more submissive.
I agree with you.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay,
to a certain extent.
Okay.
Come on, let's talk about
Shannon's
it.
about to have a heart attack right now.
No.
But see, but when people, I think it's the definition of the word submissive. People look at that word as it's a bad thing, like you're going to be some meek person who do whatever you're.
I don't think
No, not whatever.
Okay, because I was about to say.
But I think
submissive
submissive
think-
means compromise and know your place as a woman. Stop
My
trying to be
place?
the woman.
Okay.
Stop trying to be the woman and the man in the relationship.
Okay.
And just be the woman. Be
Okay.
soft and sensual and
Absolutely.
loving and kind, and allow your man to lead.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of alpha males here, and we cannot just be alpha women. We have to allow the man to take his place. So if he knows where he's going, follow him.
But this is my question to you. Just like you have alpha men, you have alpha women.
Well,
And
alpha
you
woman doesn't go with alpha man.
But
No.
right, because you do have men that are very just laid back. Again, a President Obama,
Right.
his wife had, I love Michelle Obama.
Me too.
She has a very solid personality.
Right, but
You
I'm
know
sure
who
that
she
she's
is.
submissive.
I was
When he
gonna
says
say,
shut
but
up,
she also knows
shut
when to
up.
Barack
stay
ain't
in the
saying shut up.
background.
You don't know what he's
Barack
saying in
ain't
the
told
background.
nobody
Barack told
to
Michelle,
shut
she from the
the
south side
Well,
of Chicago.
Barack
He
is
told
shut up,
her to
Michelle.
shut up. I can tell you that.
Shut up, Michelle.
No, but I think Michelle is like woman enough to know when to be in the spotlight and when to stand back from the spotlight and allow
Absolutely.
her man to shine.
Absolutely.
And that's what some women, and I'll say independent women,
Or lacking that skill.
Or lacking
I
that
can
skill
agree.
of allowing your man to shine and you stay in the background.
Right.
Or, because when it's your turn to shine, you're going to want him to push you into the shine and stay in the background too. But you can't force your way in there if you're not supporting him
Balance.
when it's time for him to shine.
Balance is the word of the night. And on that note, we're going to take another break, and we will be right back with more of The Curve. Oh, look at all them hearts and smiley faces, y'all. All right, y'all, we are back with more of the Curve. And so I just want to shout out our loyal watcher, Shay, who has a comment. She said basically that she agrees. She didn't find Marcus's comment all that offensive, that she agrees somewhat because, you know, if a man wants to take you out, if he wants to pay for things, if he wants to fix your car and pump your gas, we should allow him and give him the space to be able to do so. And if he is doing, you know, if he's doing what he's supposed to do, then you as the woman should be submissive enough, womanly enough to calm it down, back it up, and allow that to be the case.
I can agree with
Y'all, listen, your girl is not saying, I'm not saying that I don't believe all of those things. And guess what? Listen, I want men to step up and be men. I think that's wonderful and amazing. What I don't want is men telling women what they can and cannot do based on the fact that you provide, because I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's partnership, and I don't believe that is provision.
But I was about to say, a real man who's strong in his relationship is not going to tell his woman what to do. Most of the time, whether people understand it or not, in a relationship like that, the woman makes most of the decisions. It's those key, very high level, deep, dark decisions is when the man really steps in.
Okay.
But I mean, if your man is trying to tell you what to do, again, that's another control situation, and you need to get up out of that.
I think there's a time and a place to tell me what to do.
That's right.
Yes,
Control me.
Come on,
yes,
Dress.
yes.
What you mean, in the bedroom?
Hey.
In the bedroom.
And on that note, we are going. There's another topic we wanted to talk about tonight. So for those of you all who have not been on, I guess you honestly have to be under a rock, but there's a young woman. Her name is Centonia Brown. She was recently convicted in a Tennessee court of law that she must spend the next 51 years in prison before she is eligible for release. Now, if you're wondering what got Centonia 51 years, let me tell y'all. Centonia was being trafficked, and she had a pimp who was a quote-unquote boyfriend, and at 16 years old, she shot and killed a gentleman who was a John, for lack of a better term. She shot and killed the gentleman who was her John, and she is now she was placed under arrest, and she has been in jail since that point in time, and she will now spend the next 51 years in prison. What do y'all think?
I predict that she will not spend 51 years in prison. There will be some type of legal justice that will be rendered to her.
Well, this is her appeal, so
Okay.
this is,
and she has all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And by that time, something else will come in effect for her that will allow her some justice.
I feel like we're speaking that into
I
existence
agree.
here
I
on the
agree.
show.
I do know a lot
yeah.
about the law.
Yeah.
So, and I do know that, but I'm sure that once there will be some type of technicality that will grant her, once someone goes back and take a second look, for the excessive, because that's an excessive amount. And I'm sure that because she was a victim of abuse, that was not taken in accountability.
Especially her mental state.
Exactly. Anytime that you have a pimp, that is a very traumatic experience.
Absolutely.
So anytime you have someone that is making you do things outside of what you do not or normally wouldn't do, and they're conforming your mind to do bad things, you are now a victim. So
And then the length of time that she was being trafficked. Because
Exactly.
she started at a very young age.
Exactly. So I don't feel that sentence will stand. And so, yeah, it's controversy, yes. And it's unfair, yes. And if I was on the jury, I wouldn't have given her a sentence. I wouldn't have been able to say anything.
Well, I think the reason that they gave her jail time, it's because after she killed him, she also robbed him. And now, if she just killed him, then she could have said that was self-defense. But because she stole a rifle, she stole money, and something about pants. I'm not sure if she took his pants, but she may have needed some pants. I think that's why they're trying to say it's a different type of crime, but
Could
still, the length of, for them to have charged her as an at that time, and because of what she's been through, they should have been able to be a little bit more lenient on her
Absolutely.
sentencing.
Our
She's a
heart
child.
chakra goes through so many things in life. So when we have been abused and when we have been neglected, and when someone has constantly over and over and over and over again told us we're nothing and put us in these horrible situations, we become numb and we don't care. So when she probably, and I'm not making an excuse for her, when she robbed him and took his things after the crime, that may have just been something just to justify, to make her feel better for what she had already done, because she had already been through so much. Those type of people who has gone through the fire and the ringer, their heart is so broken.
She's been terrorized
Right.
for a long
She's been
period of time.
terrorized.
So
in
he's
early
just another
adolescence.
person, right? He's just another person.
And not just that, she's a child. She was a
Absolutely.
child. She was 16. The mental capacity at 16.
And note that this happened when she turned 16. She has been trafficked way longer than
Wow.
that. And
9 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the reasons this story really touches my heart is because I work with sex trafficking victims and survivors. I work with sex trafficking survivors. And up until last year in the state of Georgia, no, 2 years ago, in the state of Georgia, sex trafficking survivors and victims were treated as criminals.
Wow.
They were treated as prostitutes. They were given jail time. They are not treated as victims in the state until the Safe Harbor Yes law was passed in the state of Georgia.
I was going to say, let's talk about where their Johns came from, because
Oh,
this
yeah.
plays along with the jury
Yeah.
and the legal system within the state of
Yeah.
Tennessee, because the majority of the Johns in the state of Georgia came from outside of the perimeter.
Absolutely.
That's your Alpharettas,
Your Gwinnett's, your-
Gwinnett County,
yeah.
Kennesaw.
And which are
Cobb.
your judges and your doctors and your lawyers?
Absolutely.
And people always look at Johns as if they are, the dirty old man down the street, and it's not that. It's the clean cut guy that's sleeping with children and trafficking our kids like they're commodities. So when this girl was trafficked, when we think about your 14, 15-year-old teenager who is having to make life or death decisions. She said her testimony was that she felt like he was going for a gun and she felt like he was going to kill her, so she shot him. Now, the
I would
robbery
have did the same thing.
probably would have. The robbery and the crime that came after has to do with the fact that she has been traumatized. And I feel like when you are in that situation and you are fighting for your life, you are surviving. You are doing whatever is necessary to survive. And so it is a struggle for me to understand what the jury in Tennessee was thinking, other than this little brown girl doesn't matter.
But if they're going off of facts, and I hear exactly what you're saying, because I think that her decision was fear-based.
Absolutely.
It was fear-based,
Absolutely.
and I would even, having had experience with working with trauma, people who have been impacted by traumatic experiences, a lot of it is routine.
Yeah.
It's a program. You're going to go in, when they go to sleep, you do A, B, and C. However, she could not go back to her pimp, whether she killed him or not, empty-handed.
Amen.
She just couldn't do it. So for her own survival, it was, I'm not going to allow him to kill me, and he's not going to kill me either if I don't take anything back. Because that's why they really dug into the whole relationship between she and her pimp.
Oh, okay.
And they should dig into the relationships between them and their between victims and their pimps, in order to understand the pathology and in order to understand what really goes on when you are trafficked. It is a horrid experience, and to be controlled and to be locked up and to be kept away from your family and your friends, to be brainwashed, and then to expect that person to have the state of mind to not commit crimes is crazy to me.
So was this appeal for the Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm eager to hear what the Supreme Court has to say.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it will
We
be
already know
overturned.
what else happened in Tennessee. a
Yeah.
while ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the Supreme Court, I'm sure, will say differently.
I hope so.
And she'll walk.
I hope it gets there.
Yeah, it will.
Centoya, just know that we are praying for you. We are
Yes.
praying for your release. We are praying for another appeal. We are praying for a fair trial. Know that we have your back and that we are keeping you in our prayers.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, last but not least, we have a cool and unusual for the day. Cool and unusual is our segment, just in case you guys don't know. Cool and unusual is our segment where we highlight a woman who is doing very cool things in the community and who has done something incredibly unusual and who is blowing your mind and is honestly just a dope chick. So today's cool and unusual goes to Miss Ruth Buffalo, who is the first woman, a first Native American woman in North Dakota, in the North Dakota State Legislature, and she was sworn in the other day, and she wore her traditional garb to let y'all know that Native American people were here first, and we ain't going nowhere. That's
Shout out to some of my people.
Y'all thought I was going, but I ain't going. So, Ruth, shout out to you for being one of a cool and unusual dope chick. We really respect your hustle and respect what you're doing, and we encourage you to keep going. Keep going. Y'all, I think that's going to be it for the show, right? Y'all think that's it? Y'all got anything else?
No, I'm good.
No. Everybody good?
Good in the hood.
Good. Well, y'all, we want to say thank you so much for joining us on The Curve. We are so excited to have everyone who has popped in through the week, everyone who's dropped a comment or said anything. We are listening. We are responding. We really appreciate you guys. Again, we want you to like and share everywhere.
Yes.
Please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Go to our Facebook page on The Curve so you can make sure you catch us live at 9 p.m. every Monday, and you don't miss any of The Curve. We are super excited and so glad to have you guys here. And as always, make sure you live life on the curve. Catch y'all next week.